Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing good. Let's go ahead and get everybody in our Zoom room and we're going to get started. Yay. All right. We've got people popping in from all over the place. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here back with me today. Hi, Lauren. How are you? Good to see you again.
Doing well. How are
Oh,
you?
good. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And I see Amy and Jennifer and Nadia. And there's Miss Cynthia and Trina. Got lots of my peeps, lots of my clients in here today. Miss Jennifer, another Cynthia. We got Cynthia and Cynthia actually right next to each other, even though iPhone 8, I know that that's Cynthia. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad to have you guys back for day 3. Holy cow, I feel like I've been feeding you guys with the fire hose. You guys are doing so incredible, by the way. Like, you guys are rock stars. The questions that you are bringing to our calls are fantastic. My heart is just so full and happy and smiling because of the responses that you guys have been telling me inside of the DMs or reaching out to me via email, letting me know how much this is helping you. Even on our holistic business audit calls, it's been so great just to see you guys take the information and kind of have all these ahas and light bulbs. So I'm just really excited that this is supporting you guys so well. As we are just getting people in here, do me a favor and go ahead and pop in the chat that you're here. Again, that is the way that we know that you are here live so that we can send your goodies your way. And we did send out, just in case you guys were wondering, hopefully you would have gotten the freebie from yesterday, and we are going to give you a freebie for today as well. I've actually got some really, really great done for you email templates today, which I think are really going to serve you well. I don't know about you guys, but like done for you messaging has been such a game changer for me. Like when I was starting to build and grow my business way back in the day, it always felt like, oh my gosh, what do I say? Anybody else feel that way? Like, what do I say? What do I write? What do I post? What do I put in the email? And so you tend to kind of overthink things and then it just like never goes out. So I've got done for you, a done for you nurture email, 5 nurture emails that you can send that are really going to be beneficial to your people. And I actually have a little bonus for you guys today too. So let me pull up my workbook. Um, I thought I had it pulled up and now I'm not seeing it. So hang on just a minute. Let me grab it. And I also want to make sure that we've got the bonus handout for you guys, something really, really cool that I think you're going to like as well, which is actually kind of what to say in the DM. So I've got a what to say in the DMs for you. And I also have a what to say in the email when you are wanting to do a nurture sequence. We're going to talk all about nurture sequences. We're going to dive into more nurture sequences tomorrow, but we're going to talk, again, give you a high overview of what that is today. Okay, where is my, there it is. I knew I had it up. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. I just want to make sure that everybody can see it. Can everybody see the, whoops, hello. It's not letting me move it. Okay, great. All right, so it's there. Fantastic. All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to dive in. I'm just going to spotlight this so that you guys can see me. And I'll also be sharing my screen for the workbook where we are talking about how to be magnetically attractive to your ideal client. So we're going to be diving in over the next 3 days. Today, we're going to be talking about attracting not just any client, but we really want to attract the right client. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we do that. Because if we're not using the right words, if we are talking broccoli instead of chocolate, and our client is asking for chocolate, but we're about actually giving her broccoli, that is actually not going to be bringing the right client into our ecosystem. So we're going to be talking about 3 things, and that is the overview of needing to attract, nurture, and invite. Those are the 3 things that you want to focus your time on. And when I was building and growing my business, there was so much information out there that I was like, but what do I really spend my time on? Like, what is the 20% that I should be focused on that is actually going to create the 80% of the results of my business? Right. And so these are the three things that we're going to be focusing on. So I'm going to dive right in because we've got a lot of info to cover. Um, and actually, I forgot to ask you guys before we dive into this, who woke up this morning with remembering from yesterday's call, asking yourself, who do I get to serve today? Did anybody remember to do that this morning? Yes, Tara did. Awesome. Fantastic. How did that feel? How did that feel when you did that? Yeah, totally different, right? Yeah, when we do that, it just feels so good. We're like, who do I get to serve today? Instead of, oh my God, how do I get a client? Right? Waking up with the dread of, but I got to pay the bills and I got to get a client. Did you notice anything different happen throughout your day, Tara?
Hi, I went on my day feeling more positive and more open to people and to everyone around me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the really cool thing when we focus on that is actually it creates our reticular activating system, which actually starts. Why is that so small? Hang on just a minute. We're going to stop the share there. Okay, that's why, because it's spotlighted me and it won't let me share. But our reticular activating system actually will start looking for things to support whatever it is that our brain is thinking about. So if we wake up saying, who do I get to serve today? Our brain will actually start looking for who could I serve today, right? It starts looking for evidence to support the thought that we've got in our head. And so not only do we feel more positive, we feel more confident, but our brain is now also looking into our environment for, I wonder how I could help somebody today. I wonder how I could serve somebody today. Versus if we wake up going, oh my gosh, I can't find a client. I don't know what to do. I've got to pay the bills. I really want to build this business, but it's not working and nothing's working and blah, blah, blah. Our brain starts looking for evidence to support that, right? Which means we actually tend to overthink things. We tend to not actually take action because it feels terrible, right? It feels awful when we're in that place where we're like, I don't know what to do. And I know I've got to do something, but I'm not sure what to do because everything that I feel like nothing's working, right? Well, that's why, we started with energy yesterday and we started with mindset yesterday because that is critical. When we are in a scarcity mindset, and we talked about the two trains of thought, one train is scarcity. This isn't working. I don't know what to do. I'm confused. Nothing's working well for me. I'm not sure if I can do that. All of that is scarcity. And we will only get more of that because of the way that our brain is wired and because of the reticular activating system. We can't create solutions when we're in scarcity. We just can't. It's impossible. Our brain is actually focused on something else, right? Also, when we're in scarcity, our body, our nervous system is actually turned on. The sympathetic nervous system is on. That stress response is on, which means that our brain doesn't think clearly. We're not making really good decisions from that place either, right? So it's not just strategy. Strategy, absolutely. We're diving headfirst into strategy today, but we have to start first with our mindset so that our nervous system can also feel a little bit calmer, so we can feel confident, we can feel calm, we can feel capable, which puts us on the abundance train, right? Which means that we start looking for solutions. How could I do this? Who could I serve? I wonder where my client is hanging out. Now we're focused on solutions, which is actually going to feel better in our body. Our nervous system is going to be more calm, and we're actually going to take action, right? So that is, a quick review of what we talked about yesterday, which was energy, how important mindset and the energy that we are choosing to be in is going to support us in building our business. Because if we're in the scarcity mindset, it doesn't really matter what I teach you for strategy. You're just going to keep looking for all of the reasons why it's not going to work. Right? If we're in the energy of, oh, this isn't going to work for me, then the brain is only going to continue to look for all the ways it's not going to work. And as a matter of fact, there's this really interesting scientific study that was done. And I need to find exactly the statistics on it, but it's actually called the Valley of Despair. And we start off, it's like this bell curve. If you were to ever see, like the X and Y, and back in algebra, and you had to like graph bell curves and everything. We start up really high here. We start up like really excited and like, I've got this really great idea. I can't wait to do this, right? I've got this passion. I've got this purpose. I cannot wait to build my audience. It's going to be amazing. And then we start to fall down, and all of a sudden our brain's like, oh my gosh, I don't know, can I do this? Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe this isn't the right thing for me. It could even go into, maybe this isn't the right program for me. I don't know if I can do this anymore. And then all of a sudden the brain starts looking for something else. It's like, well, maybe let me try this idea instead. And then we go back up to the, yay, this is a great idea, and we're in the great idea, and then we fall back into the valley of despair again. We're like, but wait a minute, I don't know if I can do this. It's like this terrible loop, right? And so what we want to realize, what I want you to realize with your brain in the way that you're thinking as you're building and growing your business, is I want you first of all to normalize that if you started off feeling like, yes, this is it, and I'm so darn excited, and yet you've all of a sudden landed in the valley of despair, it's normal. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your brain. It's actually just the way that our brain works. So what I want to invite you to do is to hang in there for a little bit longer, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to start coming back up, and it is going to start feeling better, and you're going to actually move through, and you're going to start creating traction, and you're going to start doing things that actually create success for you. Okay. But until we actually begin to create momentum, if we're stuck down here in that valley of despair, it's not until we start creating momentum that we can start going up, right? So I want you to hang in there and start implementing what it is that you're learning from this workshop, so that you can start moving out of the valley of despair and actually into momentum, where you're actually going to start creating results and start feeling better. And then the brain is actually going to also what? Look for evidence to support that, right? Look for evidence to support that it's working. Look here, where it's going to start looking for evidence that this is a great idea. So let's pop in here to our magnetizing our dream clients to build an audience of aligned yes buyers. And it's really important for you to understand these three, like this Venn diagram, because your business will not work if we don't have all three. And what I see is that many businesses, and actually probably about 99.9% of the people that I'm talking to for these holistic business growth audits and my clients that come to work with me, are missing one, two, sometimes all three of these. Okay. And so I can very quickly, within the first 5 minutes of talking to you about your marketing and your sales process, actually pick out which one of these are missing. So when we are chasing clients, we're actually in the energy of scarcity. So we get to stop the chasing. We get to stop the, oh my gosh, I've got to get this client. I've got to chase after clients. I have to, try to convince them or persuade them. We actually want to stop chasing, because chasing is actually energetically out of alignment with what it is that you actually want, which is actually attracting a client to you, right? Chasing is actually repelling, it's actually pushing away. We want to draw people to us, not push them away, right? And so these three pieces together are going to be the things that are actually going to do that for you. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, we're going to go in deep today on attract, but I'm going to share with you all three, is that when we are attracting clients, what we are doing from the energy of abundance, from the energy of excitement, from the energy of calm or relax or confidence, we are going to get really, really clear on who our ideal client is. And we are actually going to lead with value. We want to make sure that we are looking at who in our world could we serve, right? Who do I get to serve today? And what would be a piece of value that feels really, really, really good to them? And I'm going to go more in depth in that after I explain this. Okay. So when we are leading with value, we are attracting the right client into our ecosystem. Okay. Versus attracting a client that's really not interested in doing anything differently. And I like to share that there's really three different types of people that are in our world, in our ecosystem, and they fall into three different categories. 30% of the people that might be seeing you or responding or in your ecosystem, I call the sidewalkers. And these sidewalkers are walking along. They might see you. They might like your content. They might give you a heart. They might say that's really cool, but they are not interested in doing anything different. They probably don't think that they have a problem, or if they do think that they have a problem, they're not willing to do anything about it. So what's the problem with that? If we're trying to convince or persuade those people, which actually a lot of marketing copy is trying to persuade or convince somebody that they have a problem, if they don't think they have a problem, they're actually not going to respond, right? So in order for a client to be an ideal fit for us, they have to be willing to do something different, right? They have to be willing to step out of their comfort zone. They have to be willing to make a change, right? If somebody wants to get fit or, start taking on exercise, they have to be willing to do that, right? So just like growing your business, you as business owners have to be willing to do something different than what got you here, because where you are right now is not where you want to be. And it's only what has gotten you what you've done in the past that's actually created where you are here, right? So you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and do something that's going to be a little bit different. And normally our brain is like, hell no, I don't want to do that. Anything different is scary. Anything different is going to kill me. I'm going to die, right? And that's kind of where we go into that valley of despair. But I want you to stay with me, because when you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and into what I like to call the shaky zone, kind of like when you're trying to learn a bike and it feels a little shaky, right? It's new. We feel a little shaky on it. We don't have our balance. We don't know yet how to fully ride the bike. We stay there until we're not shaking anymore. And then that becomes our new comfort zone. Okay. So our ideal client is not a sidewalker. Our ideal client is actually going to be the next two places, the next two categories, where the next category I like to call the slow lane. And that's 67% of the people. That's actually a pretty good number, right? 67% of people in your world are actually willing to do something, and they're looking for a solution. They just haven't found you yet. Okay, so those are the people that we want to have raise their hand in our ecosystem. Those are the people that we want to attract. Those are the people that we want to lead with value. Why? Because they are willing to get out of their comfort zone and do something different, right? They want to make a change. They're actually looking for somebody to support them. And then the last lane is the fast lane, and that's about 3% of the people in your ecosystem. And that 3% is actually willing to do something today. Today. They probably are already in your warm market. They have an experience of know, like, trust with you, and they're like, yep, let's go. Let's go. So that's 3%. So every day that you wake up, there is another 3%. So what does that have to do with attract, nurture, and invite? Well, what we want to do then is we want to attract the right people, the people that are in the slow lane, to come in and see us so that we can give them value and so that we can have them self-identify, right? And then now, once we've attracted them into our ecosystem and given them value, now we get to nurture them. And this is the piece that I see that's missing from about 80% of coaches. What they tend to do is they attract somebody and then they invite immediately, and they're actually making premature marriage proposals, right? They're sending out an email, they're making a post, they're expecting somebody to, when they comment, to automatically buy, and that doesn't happen. Okay, so we need to attract first the right client, and then we want to nurture, we want to give people value. And when we give people value, that could look like a freebie. It could look like a resource that you have. It could look simply as like, hey, how are you? Like, tell me what you're struggling with and let me grab, something that can help you. It could be a simple comment. It could also be something like what I love to do, which are these holistic growth audits. There's no sale. There is not an invitation to work with me. It is simply a place where I get to connect with you, give you value, help you walk away to create wins and epiphanies, Okay, because I know that until you trust me, until you feel that you're getting value from me, you are not able to be a yes to work with me, because nobody can work with anybody until they believe them and they trust them, right? So if we don't have a way to connect with people and nurture them, then they just can't be a buyer. They can't be a buyer, right? So attracting, nurturing, and then inviting. So we can attract the right client and then we can nurture them. But if we don't ever invite them to work with us, what happens? No buyers, right? We think that people know that how they can work with us, right? We're like, well, I'm a coach. Like, why don't they just ask me how they can work with us? Well, they don't feel comfortable doing that. So, for as much as you are afraid to invite them, they're actually afraid to reach out to you because you're the authority, you're the expert, you've got all the information, right? They're the ones that are struggling. And so we think that they know how that they can work with us. And we think that it would be natural for them to reach out and say, hey, can you help me? Nope. Even if they need your help, they actually need an invitation. Okay. And the invitation is not an invitation to buy my thing. An invitation is inviting them to explore whether or not they're interested in having support. Okay, because they have to be willing to hear whether or not they're interested in support, right? They have to be interested in having support first, right? If they're not interested in having support, then there's no need for us to invite them to work with us, right? So an invitation, and this is why I call it an invitation. It's like an invite to, hey, you've got my freebie, you're in my Facebook group. I don't know if you know, but I'm doing this new thing. I'm gonna, start this new group, or for example, I've got Activate Abundance. You guys know that already. We opened up enrollment last night. I'm just gonna use that as an example. We've got a new program. Are you interested in having support to build and grow your business? Would you like the details to see if you want my support to help you implement and grow your business? That's an invitation, right? That's not saying, hey, do you want to buy my thing? I'm saying, hey, you've heard about it. Are you interested in having support to grow your business? If so, let's hop on a chat and I'm happy to talk about ways that program might support you. And if that doesn't work for you, I've got other ways that I can support you. Like, that's not the only way that I coach with my clients, right? So an invitation has to be made. I also want to invite you to think about an invitation as like an invitation to a party, right? So you can decorate the outside of your house and think that people know that you have a party, but you got to actually make the invitation, right? If we're having, a party for Memorial Day and we want to have a cookout or a barbecue, we actually have to invite people to come, right? They don't just normally know that. So I want you to see that these invitations, this is really, really important. People want to be invited. Okay, let me just say that people want to be invited. They don't want to be sold to, but they sure as heck want to be invited, right? And there's a difference, right? They don't want to feel manipulated, but they want to be invited. They want to be able to make choice, right? We all want sovereignty, right? And so if we think that something can support us, we all want to be invited to see and to make our own decision about whether something is a good fit for us or not, right? Pop a yes in the chat if this is landing. I just want to make sure that you guys are tracking with me. Does this make sense? I'm just going to pop, yes. Okay, great. Andy's, yes, yes, yes. Okay, fantastic. How does this feel different when you would be thinking about making invitations to somebody to explore having your support? How does that feel in your body when you hear me say that? Hopefully, it feels more comforting, right? It doesn't feel like that zing, right? Because when we're zinging, we're actually in a stress response. Good. Okay, great. Comforting. Yes. Fantastic. Honest and authentic. Yeah. So we are going to make more invitations to people if we are feeling honest, if we are feeling authentic, if we're feeling safe, if we are feeling comforted, right? And guess what? The more invitations you make, the more buyers you have. The more invitations you make, the more buyers you have, right? So it's really important that we feel good about making the invitations. It's really important that we feel good that we're not trying to manipulate or convince or, drag anybody across the finish line, but we're simply opening up the door for exploration to say, hey, are you interested in support? Is this something that might serve you? Could I share the details with you? And that feels so much better because it's permission based. It's permission based, right? And we all want to be able to make our own decisions. And again, to say yes or no, we all want choice, right? So I always, by the way, ask for permission. Could I share this with you? Could I share the details with you? Is this something that might support you? Okay. Because then again, I'm coming from a very open, honest, relaxed, safe space, right? Versus trying to just, well, let me just give you a 1 hour discovery session. And we know, look, nobody wants 1 hour discovery sessions anymore. And I'll tell you why. Oh, look at that. How did Zoom know that I was going to say something negative about a discovery session? That's crazy. First of all, if somebody doesn't know you, they're not going to give you a 1 hour of their time, right? If someone just says, hey, do you want to hop on a 1 hour call with me and you don't know them or you don't trust them, like, are you just going to give them an hour of your time? No, right? Second, if they don't know you, like you, or trust you, then it's going to be really, really hard to actually create rapport in 1 hour to the point where they are actually interested in what it is that you have going on. Okay. So yeah, yes. Even if you know about a 1 hour party or meeting, I'm not going unless invited. Yes. And you feel their safety and value. Amen, Paige. Absolutely. Right. I'm the same, so I hope this is landing because this is going to make a difference between you creating a successful business and the other coaches that are going out of business, because this is what's needed in 2025. Just to go back over this again, you can attract and nurture, but if you don't invite, you're not going to have buying clients. You can attract and make the invitations, but if you don't nurture them before you make the invitation, you're not going to have a buyer. And you can also nurture and invite people to work with you, but if you're attracting the wrong client who's not willing or capable to do anything about their problem, you're also not going to have a buyer. Okay. So this is why we want all three of these things. These are the three pieces, and these are actually the needle movers that you're going to focus on in your business. This is what creates 80% of your results. Okay. So every single day, and by the way, my clients that are here that are in Activate Abundance Academy know that they have a golden hour. We do something called a golden hour where they know exactly what to do for the first hour that they're at their desk. And they're going to do something from the attract column, something from the nurture column, and something from the invite column. And yes, we actually make invitations every day. Every day. Because guess what? People are going to be moving through your ecosystem. So this comes to this next piece of client attraction. This is actually a cycle that our clients go through, right? Attract, nurture, and invite is down here on the right side. The first place here is we are attracting somebody who's a stranger, right? There's no relationship developed yet, right? But maybe we're saying, hey, who are my people who aren't getting enough movement in that want to learn how to I don't know, do chakra dancing. I'm just going to totally like make something up off the fly. Well, they're going to raise their hand. They're strangers, but if we have something like that and they raise their hand, great. Well, guess what? Now they're coming into our ecosystem and they are moving from stranger to viewer. So they might be watching. They actually might not even be responding. They kind of might be lurkers too, right? But they are raising their hand, and this is an opportunity for us to start the nurture process and build trust with our potential client by sharing something of value. And again, I told you I was going to dive into what that is, and we're gonna do that. I've got another handout to show you, which is actually your second bonus for today. From a viewer, they go into a lead. So a lead, and by the way, I hate that name, lead. It just sounds like a number, but it's, just for explanation, right? Your person has been served with some value, right? Maybe she's gotten your freebie. Maybe she's actually come to a challenge. Maybe she's in your Facebook group. Maybe you've invited her to your Facebook and she's watched a live, right? She's getting some value and she's had an experience with you. And this is important. We want our people to have an experience. What builds know, like, trust quickly is for people to see you, to feel feel you, right? That's why you guys are here. You can kind of feel my energy, right? You can see me, you can hear my tone of voice, you can decide whether we're connected, right? Whether you're resonating with anything that I'm saying. So that's important that we give them an experience of us. Okay. And then they are move into what we call as a potential client. They're not a buyer yet, but they know you, they like you, they trust you, and they're interested now in the details in what it is that you have to offer. Okay. So this is like a clarity call or a consult call. So there's two different types of calls that I do and I teach my clients to do. One is an assessment call, which actually falls in our nurture category. Okay. Our assessment call is we're not asking people to buy, we're simply giving value. Okay. A consult call is different. A consult call is the person is actually saying, hey, what are the ways that I could work with you? What are the ways? What are your offers? What are, tell me more about this program. Right now, they're in a consult call where they are already interested. And so you're not needing to manipulate or convince or persuade. What you're doing on a consult call is helping somebody make an empowered decision. That's it. We're not trying to get the yes. We're actually trying to help them make an empowered decision about whether or not you've got something that is going to support them to get their transformation. Okay. And we do this in about 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes it might be a little longer if somebody's got, more questions. But the beauty about this is that if they're already interested and if they're already asking you how they can work with you or what is included, that means that you don't have to worry about trying to overcome all of these objections, right? Even if they're not yet, that's totally fine. But you don't have to feel like you've got to somehow drag somebody across the finish line. Okay. So when we follow this, the attract, nurture, and invite in our business, our conversion rates, the number of yeses that we get when we have consult calls are actually pretty darn high because we're only on consult calls with people who are interested in hearing the details. Make sense? Yeah. And how would it feel for you if you knew that when you were getting on a call with somebody, they were actually interested in hearing the details? Right? You'd be excited, right? Versus, oh my God, I don't know if they're like, they don't even know what my programs are. What if they say they can't, they don't have time? What if they say if they don't have the money? What if, blah, 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 right? And then all of a sudden we're like freaking out a bit and we're actually in an energy of scarcity and they can feel that. And yeah, that just doesn't work. And I saw Lauren's hand up. So let me stop the share for a minute. Hey, Lauren.
Hi.
Hi.
I love this. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Question. You just said you break out the assessment call and you provide value in that, which I understand like for your business is the audit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the consult call, which is helping someone make an empowered decision.
Yep.
I'm curious how you think about the assessment call for coaches who are like coaching someone to
Yeah.
drive a change in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely something that we do with our clients too, is we help them to create assessments. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do it depending on what type of coach or healer you are, right? So, for example, one of my clients who is a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, she's got an assessment that she will take people through. And it's basically a series of questions that they answer so that she can see kind of which system, digestions, blood sugar regulation, which system is out of balance, so that when she gets on the call, she can say, okay, based on the answers that you took, this is kind of where we would start first. We need to get your digestion going or whatever. So now we've got an assessment and we're actually helping that client put together some pieces. We're not solving the whole problem. We're not doing a free coaching call. What we're doing is we're helping them say, okay, like based on the assessment, this is where you are. This is this is what you're missing. Here's one tiny step that you could take to work towards solving that problem, right? And so that would be an assessment. And there's nothing wrong also with an assessment to let them know and say, look, this is what we created today. This is where you are today. I'll circle back around with you next week and see how it's going for you. And if you're interested in having my support, to help you along making this change, I'm happy to hop on another call with you at a later time, right? I'm happy to hop on another call with you, at another time. Very often what ends up happening in my assessments, I would say about 50% of the time, people are getting so much value that they're like, well, what are your programs? Well, how could I work with you? And if they do that, then what I do is I say, first of all, I want to bring closure to the call because the call's intention was to give value. So I'll say, happy to share that with you, but I just want you to remember that today's call was just about giving you value. It's not a sales call. So here's a couple things that we can do. If you've got an extra 15 minutes and I don't have another client, I can stay on a little bit longer and I can, share with you different ways that I think might be a really good fit for helping you get the result that you said that you want today, right? Or we can schedule it for another time. We can take a look at tomorrow around this time or maybe next week at this time, which one would you like to do, right? So I schedule an actual conversation around making a buying decision at a later time. But I want to close that container first so that it's really, really clear that the assessment call is now over. And now we're moving into making a buying decision about which offer or which program is going to feel the best for her. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to actually be a yes right then and there in the call. We all have our own processing times, right? Sometimes we actually need to talk to a spouse or talk to a partner before we make a big investment. I get that. And I'm totally fine with that, right? Um, and again, we're going to actually go when we get into the invite part of it, we're actually going to talk about ways that we can actually support our clients if they do want to talk to a spouse around making an investment. Because we definitely want our person to feel an absolute yes that they want the support before they actually even go talk to their spouse. Um, I'll just give you an example. If I was to go to my husband and say, honey, I'm not sure, but I think I want to do this thing, can I have $5,000? They're going to be like, what? Hell no, right? But if we were to say, honey, you know what? I just had this amazing conversation. I really think that this is going to help me. These are the reasons why it's going to help me. Could I have your support in supporting me in joining this program or having this support, right? Completely different end, right? So we're going to dive more into that on the invite day because that's a way that our client, once she feels like she's a yes, can or he can then go and actually have a empowered conversation instead of groveling. I'm like, I don't know if I can do my and here's the thing, when people are not a full body yes, that tends to be what happens. They tend to look for permission if they're not a full body yes, or if they're scared because they want to share the blame. Well, you said I could, so if I fail, like it's not just my fault, right? It's like, oh, you said it. So, anyways, that's a whole nother game. Yeah. Yeah, and Paige says, let me get down here. I need my spouse's support or the energy in our home. Yes, affects the energy in your business for sure. Yeah, so I am definitely not saying that we don't ever need to, ask our spouse for support, but we get to ask for support, not permission. Two different things, right? We don't need to ask for permission. We want to ask for support because it's your business, right? And so as a CEO, you get to make the decisions around your business. And I do get that sometimes we are working with joint finances, right? And so sometimes is somebody else involved and we get to ask for support around that. Yeah, super helpful. You're welcome. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, Sarah, so good. Yeah. So she said that probably really prevents buyer's remorse too. Yes. Oh my gosh. Right. Now, that's not to say that, look, when I first knew that I was a full body yes, and, I was a stay-at-home mom and I hired my first business coach, it was $10,000. I actually backed out twice. I backed out. I said yes, and then I said no. And then I said yes, and then I said no. I'm like, right? Why? Because I actually went into the valley of despair. I said, yes, I know this coach is amazing. I know she can help me. I'm a heart yes for it. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but I think I can figure it out. And then then I crashed and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mom. What am I doing? I can't do this. How am I going to pay her? Ba, 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 right? And so I went back and I made a different decision and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. And then I'm like, Okay, but I do need support. Like, I know I can't keep popsicle sticking and duct taping things together. Like, that is not working. I really do need the support. So I went back and I said yes. And then he said no again, right? Like, so I get it if you guys have been there, right? And then finally, I'm like, nope, I'm doing this. I will figure it out, right? If she believes she could, she will. You know, Sarah's like, you're in my brain, yeah. But I have to tell you that my business coach at that point did something pretty amazing. And that is, she was really a stand for me in what was possible. She didn't get into the convincing or persuading, but she did help me see, Chris, if you trusted yourself, what would this look like? If you trusted that you could do this, and even though you haven't done it yet, what would it look like if you did have support and you did trust yourself in order to make that happen? Right. And so what it did is it actually allowed me to come up with an idea to how I could pay her for just the next month. And that's really all I did. I'm like, all right, what could I do to come up with the $1,000 that I would need to say yes just for this next month? And and so I did that, and I came up with putting together a group program. Today, it's actually a white labeled program that I sell to my clients called the Launch Well program. Is a 6 week program, and I asked 5 people if 5 of my friends and people that I thought would be our clients. I was in massage therapy at that time. If they wanted to go through it, I charged $200. That was $1,000, like within a couple days. And I went from being a victim to my bank account of, nope, I can't do it because my credit cards are maxed out and I don't have any money in my checking account and I don't know how I'm going to pay her. I went from that to, holy shit, I just created $1,000. If I can do it once, I can do it again. Right. And so what it did is it put me back in the driver's seat to make empowered decisions and to say, okay, how am I going to do it again? And so I continued to run that 6 week wellness program, and it went from once a week to twice a week to multiple cohorts. About 30% of the people that worked with me in that 6 week program continued to work with me one on one. And so by the end of 6 months, I had actually crossed the 6 figure mark in my coaching business. And so what she did for me was a stand for what was possible. She didn't let me just stay in the valley of despair of being a victim to my bank account. Right? I didn't have a spouse at that point, so I didn't have anybody that I needed to ask permission to. So let me go back and share my screen because I want to make sure that we have time to dive into the attraction component of it. Right? So this is where I want to share. We're going to go through these 3 things today. How do we call in the right clients into our world organically and intentionally? Right? Organically only means that we're not spending money on ads in order to buy a lead. Okay, so organic means it's something that we are doing without spending money. And I highly recommend, until you are at $500,000 in your business, it should all be done organically because ads do not solve a sales problem. Ads actually create more leads, but that doesn't convert. You're the one who's converting, right? So spending money on ads is not a conversion tactic. It's not a sales tactic. It's actually a lead generation tactic. Okay. And we want to make sure that we're attracting the right people organically first, right? We want to have a good organic marketing system first so that then we can see what's working, what's not working. We want to be able to enroll clients first organically until we get to a certain amount in our business where we're actually creating cash so that we can then invest it in ways that we want to invest it. Number 2, we're going to talk about the fastest, most genuine way to build know, like, trust, the know, like, trust factor without faking it. Without faking it, we just get to be us, right? And so I'm going to share some ways that you can do that as well. And then we're also going to talk about how to nurture our potential clients in a way that feels deeply aligned, natural, and true to you. And again, this is important because authenticity is a big one. Okay. In 2025, we talked about that on day 1. What is going to make a difference? Us showing up as us, Authenticity is going to be important. We don't need to try to be somebody that we're not. We don't need to try to copy somebody's copy. We don't need to try to, do something just because we think somebody else is doing it. What we do want to do is do something, nurture our potential clients in a way that feels deeply aligned and natural to us. Why? Because if it doesn't feel aligned and natural to us, we're not going to do it, right? We're going to look for all of the reasons why we shouldn't be doing the thing if it doesn't feel natural. So we're gonna go through these three things today. Let me go ahead and share my screen so I can pull up my. There you go. So we're going to cover the fastest way to build know like trust, because we're in a trust recession, and so what's most important is that we show up authentically and we build trust with people. Okay, so let me stop this share and get on the other one. I hear people popping in, popping off. Okay, so here's how it plays out in a soulful service-based business, which we all have. We're not selling products. We're here to sell coaching or services or healing, right? Number one is we want to show up where our people already are with purpose. We're not just showing up. We're actually going to show up to contribute. Okay. So instead of just like throwing spaghetti at the wall, we want to say, all right, well, where are our aligned women? Where is our ideal client hanging out? Right now, with 3 billion people on Facebook, chances are she's here or he's here on Facebook. We know that there's two places that ideal clients hang out the most. One is YouTube and the other is Facebook. YouTube is search engine. The other one, Facebook, is really where we can develop and build relationships and nurture a whole lot better. So think of small Facebook groups, masterminds, virtual summits, Voxer chats, programs that you might be in, live events that you're attending, right? It could be a yoga class that you're going to as well, right? So we want to think about our ideal client. We want to think about where is she already gathered? And then we get to join the conversation, not to pitch, but to pour into others, to play the generosity game. I love playing the generosity game, to share wisdom, to share empathy. So, what would this look like if you were in a Facebook group? Well, I was in a Facebook group when I was building my health coaching practice, and it was for women that were 50 and over. And somebody was talking about how she was having such a hard time sleeping. And I responded and I said, well, this is something that I've tried that works really, really well for me. I went through early menopause and I had a really hard time sleeping. And so, this, might also work for you. And I said, and I have a sleep guide. If you're interested, I'm happy to share it. Like, no up, like, I'm just going to give you my guide. I legit had anywhere between, I think it was 50, 75, 100, somewhere between a 50 and 100 people comment that they wanted the guide. I wasn't pitching. I wasn't selling. I was showing up and I was offering value. I was generous with insights. I was sharing wisdom. I was being empathetic, right? So that's number one. That's one way out of, the rest of the ways that we can actually start sharing with purpose and start building trust quickly. Okay. Number two is you can also use your voice, not just text, but voice. And I would even take it a step further and say that if you have an app called BombBomb or Loom, even on your phone, you can do a quick video. Hey, Chris, how did that sleep guide, go for you? Was there, something on there that worked really well with you? Just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. That's it. That's it. So again, we want to build that trust with that person. Number three is we want to offer bite-sized wins through free personalized support. This is like my audit, okay? Think 15-minute calls, live audits, 3-question consults in stories or inbox. You're giving real-time value that builds credibility, okay? We're not trying to be perfect here. We just want to give value. Okay. And I personally like audits on Zoom because I want to actually see you. I want to really connect. I want eyeball to eyeball. I want to smile. I want to hear you. I want you to know that I've got you and that I'm listening to you and I understand what it is that you're saying. And I want to be with you in that because that is part of how I run my business. I've got my brain, my eyes, my heart with you in your business with you. So we want them to have amazing value and walk away feeling like, holy crap, if that's what I got for free, Imagine what it would be like if I actually worked with this person. Okay. So bite-sized wins. We're not trying to solve the whole problem, but we're creating some bite-sized wins for them. Number 4, stand boldly in your message. No more hiding behind generic content, right? Look, here's the truth. We all want to live our best life ever. So if we lead with who wants to live their best life ever, that's not going to land for anybody, right? Who wants to tap into their soul's purpose? It sounds really good to us, but it doesn't really land because we all want to live to our soul's purpose, right? We all want to. And by the way, you guys are going to get this for free for those of you guys that are here live. This is a bonus. So just want to let you guys know. Don't worry about like frantically writing things down. You guys will have this handout. So we want to stand boldly in our message, which means we have to share our story, speak our truth, let people know what is important to us and what we're stand for. Okay. And that's going to be important. I am a stand for women feeling empowered in their business, for creating financial independence, for being able to build a business that feels aligned and supportive and not having to use any of the ick factor or the manipulation or the wonky things that we just don't want to do because it doesn't feel good. So we get to stand boldly in that message. Number 5 is we want to also offer a high value, high converting freebie. This is actually one of the fastest and most sustainable ways to build know, like, trust, especially when it's designed to help somebody create a win or an aha moment, and it positions you as a go-to expert. Okay, so this is actually going to help you because it's actually going to build value. They're going to walk away with it. And there is a difference between just a crappy freebie, which I'm sure many of you have got. I know I have. And a high value, high converting freebie. So when we work with our clients inside of Activate Abundance Academy and Holistic Business Foundations, we help them create not just a freebie, but a high value freebie that solves a specific problem so that it's actually converting. And when I say converting, out of 100 people, we want 70 of them to say yes. So they convert at around 70%. That's important because that tells us that it's in front of the right person and it's giving them the value that they're asking for. If we have a freebie that's converting at 20%, that tells us one of two things. The language is off and we're not speaking her language, we're talking broccoli, or it's not in front of the right people. So having a high value, high converting freebie is also going to help you know, are you in front of the right people and are you using their language? Okay. So why this works is because they get introduced to your world with clear and a relevant win. Again, it has to be congruent and relevant to what it is that they want. They feel supported and understood because they're getting value and they're getting real value that works without you asking for anything up front. Okay, so here's how we actually create a high value freebie. Number 1, it has to be specific and results focused. Okay, it has to be specific and results focused, like the sleep guide, right? How to get your best night's sleep in 7 days or less. It's results focused, get good sleep, and it's ultra specific, right? That's not how to live your best life ever. It's like how to get your best night's sleep in 7 days or less. Really, really specific, right? It shows our ideal client that we get her and it positions us as someone who solves real problems. If it's too generic, it doesn't sound like it's solving any problem, right? What problem is live your best life ever solving? I don't know. Relationship problem? Fitness problem? Mental problem? I don't know, but it doesn't tell us what problem it's solving, right? And then we also want to deliver a small transformation. So again, this isn't just giving them information. This is what is it that that people can actually use, like a plug and play tool, right? Like you guys with this, I could turn this handout into a high value, high converting freebie because it's delivering value, it's solving a problem, right? All of these things, it's clicking all those boxes. Right. And you can also add like a personal touch to it. So when they give you their name or email, or you could just give it to them in a DM messenger, you can send a little voice note, right? And you could follow up with them, right? So this is one of my favorite ways to actually build know, like, trust because it supports them. It helps them to create a win. So between a holistic business audit that I do, so audits and also high value freebies, and then being able to follow up and be really personable and authentic is really going to be beneficial. And then number 6 is we want to really be consistent. We have to be consistent. Okay, that doesn't mean that you need to post every darn day or you've got to spend all your time on Facebook, but you do need to be consistent, because consistency in showing up, consistency in your message, in your values, in your energy actually builds trust and safety in the people who are seeing that, right? Imagine if you were talking about helping somebody run a marathon one day, and the next day you were talking about how to have a better marriage with your partner. You jumped, right? They're like, wait, what? I thought she was going to help me run a marathon, and now she's talking about relationships, right? So that's when I talk consistency in your message, right? Consistency in your values and what you stand for. If you say you're going to show up, right? So consistency is important, because when you are consistent over a period of time, people trust you. They know what they can expect from you. Make sense? Yeah. So, and the reason why I'm going to give you guys this is because I've got messaging templates for you. So if you want to know what to say, here you go. You want to reconnect with somebody, there's a message for reconnection. There's a message for helping somebody. For example, if you did a challenge or a nurture event like I'm doing, you can say, hey, I remember you said XYZ thing. Just wanted to check in and remind you, right? You're closer than you think. So these are messaging templates that you can use for if you've done like a Facebook Live or a challenge, or if you've got a Facebook group, or if you're on Facebook and you want to have a conversation with somebody, these are messaging templates for you here. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to make sure that you guys get that. Before I forget, I want to pop it in the chat here so you guys can just grab it, because I did not give this to my assistant to send to you guys. So I want to make sure that you guys get it here. And where is it? Now I've got to find it on my desktop. Hang on just a minute. I've got way too much on my desktop. Okay, hang on just a minute. Let me type it in. Oh gosh, I might need to actually just have her send it to you guys, because I can't find it right now. It's not coming up. Oh, here it is. Yay, yay. Okay, cool. All right, so there you go. The other thing that I want to share that makes a high value, high converting freebie is that people are going to want to use it over and over and over again. It's not a one and done, right? This is important because it's going to keep you top of mind. If somebody prints out your freebie and uses it over and over and over again, they're going to see your name. They're going to see your brand. They're going to remember you. So when they're ready for support, they're going to know that you are absolutely their person. Yeah, Tara, absolutely. If you can't download that, I will make sure. Yeah, send it to the emails for sure. Okay. So attract, nurture, invite. Today we talked about the importance of those 3 things. We have to have all 3. We can't miss it. We got to have all 3. And those are the 20% of the things that we focus on that are creating the 80% of the results, which are buyers, right? You're welcome, Amy. And then we talked about attraction today and some ways that we can attract people into our ecosystem and build know, like, trust quickly. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about the nurture circle. And I'm going to give you some nurture emails also that you can use. The following day, we are going to talk about making invitations and how we actually do that in a way that feels really good for us, and the ladder of beliefs that our clients actually go up. And I'm going to give you some sales templates so that you can use that to invite people to your offer. You're absolutely welcome. And then let's see, today's Wednesday, that's Thursday. On Saturday, I'm going to help you build out your 6-figure offer. So what's a 6-figure offer? It is your high-end offer. It's a high-ticket offer. where you are right now in your business, you want to have two core main offers, and one of them needs to be a high ticket offer. Now, my representation of a high ticket offer is anything that's priced around 2,000 to 3,000 or higher, right? You might have a 6-month program that's priced around 5,000. If these numbers scare you, don't let it scare you. We stair step things. If you're like, holy shit, no one's going to pay me 5 grand. Yep. Don't worry about it. We've got you. But I'm going to share with you exactly what to put in it that is actually making it high value. That also is going to help you be able to feel good about pricing it at that 2K to 3K amount for a 90-day program. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's not downloading? Yes. Okay, we'll make sure that we send this to everybody's email too. Okay, so we're going to wrap up for tonight, but I really want you to think about if you had the support to implement this, attract, nurture, invite, if you know what to do, if you knew what to focus, if you knew how to navigate the nuances, if you had the freebies, if you had the templates, if you had the messaging, how would this make a difference to you in your business? Because that's what we're giving you inside of Activate Abundance Academy. We're helping you create the assessments. We're helping you create the freebies. We're giving you the done for you messaging. We're giving you a 9-day done for you content plan. We're walking you through not only how to build your foundations, which is creating a group, creating a community, how to nurture them, what to say, but we're collapsing the timeline to your success. Okay. So what you're going to notice about making an investment, because we all do this when we're ready to make an investment, is that we might get excited about it and go, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. I really want that, but I can't. And we start going down into the valley of despair. I don't have the money. I can't do this. What if I don't get a return on an investment? And our brain starts looking for all of the reasons why this is the worst idea ever. Right. I mean, heck, if I knew, like I knew that if I said, you know what, I'm going to put this $1,000 in the stock market because I'm going to triple my investment, my brain is still going to tell me that's the worst idea ever. It's going to be, nah, I don't think you should do that. Like you should really put that money in savings where it's safe. Like, nah, but like what, right? So our brain is going to look for all of the reasons why we should not be making large investments. Okay. So just know that that's normal. But what I want to invite you to look at is the other side of that argument that our brain gives, which is what if you did like I did? Oh no, I totally froze. What if you did like I did? Say, you know what? I'm not a victim to my bank account. I can figure it out. If I have the support, I believe that I could actually create this. And then we can also take a look at really how many clients would you need to create over the next year in order not just to get your return on investment, because I don't want you to just get a return on your investment. I want you to double it, triple it, quadruple it in your first year. And then think about what is the return on investment over the next 2 years, because you're going to be using the same information. What happens when you continue to dive in and implement this over and over and over again from that one initial investment? And then what happens after 5 years in your business, right? So we're not talking about now just a small return on investment. The investment that I have made, I can definitely say it's 10x my business. And so I want you to think about what is the long-term investment that you get when you are investing in having the right support, the right system and accountability, and all of the extra tools that you need in order to make this happen, to collapse the timeline a lot quicker. Okay. Now, I totally get that joining a year program might also sound like the worst thing ever. But the reason why we have it for a year is so that I can be with you in your business for a year so that you can try things and so we can hone them and master them. I don't want you going through a program and then me just cutting you loose and saying, okay, check you later. Hope you can swim. I want you to do it again and again and again so that I can be with you, so that we can take a look at things and say, you know what? This probably isn't the right ideal client for you. It's not getting in front of the right people, or the messaging is off. Or you know what? My client today actually said that she tripled her prices and she got an easy yes. Like she just said the price, even though she was scared to death. Easy yes. She's like, I just needed to be confident in saying my price, right? So these are the things that you're going to get when you have the right support, when you have a system, when you're in a community with people that are also building and growing your business. So if you want to book a call with me, if you just want an audit, totally fine, book the audit. If you book an audit, but you also want to have a conversation with me, totally fine, about whether Activate or something else is the best fit for you, totally fine to do that too, right? So Activate Abundance is one program that we have. It is the program that gives you one-on-one support and a mastermind. So it's a combination of both. It's not just a group program. You're actually getting one-on-one calls with me. You're getting one-on-one calls with our tech coach. You're getting one-on-one calls with our success coach. You're getting one-on-one calls with our productivity coach. So if you're somebody that's like, I don't know how to organize things, I don't know how to create, like we have got wraparound support with you. You have monthly group calls with our marketing coach. She is my personal marketing and copywriting coach. And guess what? She's going to look at your copy and give you feedback on it. So we know, right? Like, let's not spend 3 or 4 months trying to figure out if this copy is going to work or not. Let's get somebody's professional eyes on it and try it. And then if we need to tweak it, we'll tweak it. Okay. We want to collapse the timeline for you. That's why we have these guest experts and we've got people that are in there. You also have monthly tech calls. So if you're like, I'm not sure how to upload this thing into, or I'm not sure how to create a landing page, or I'm not sure how to create a workbook, great. Our tech coach will walk you through it. She will be with you in a Zoom room and walk you through it so that you don't have to try to figure it out on your own, right? What else do we have inside of Activate? We've got profit planning sessions every quarter. So not only are you going to create a one-on-one strategy plan with me, you and I are going to meet on a one-on-one call, and I'm going to help you create your next 90-day plan. But we're also going to meet in a group and take a look at a profit plan to dive in specifically around what are you going to do for the next 90 days to attract, nurture, and invite. And we're going to come up with that plan so that you know for quarter 1 or quarter 2 or quarter 3 or quarter 4, this is your roadmap. This is your roadmap. I want you to have a roadmap so you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Okay. So Activate Abundance Academy is everything that I wish that I would have had when I started. And until tomorrow night, you're actually saving $4,000. So just a reminder, you can do the payment plan, which is 12 payments of 1,333, or you can pay in full and do one payment of 16K. Either way, it's fine. If you decide that you want to pay in full, there's actually a bonus where you're going to work with me for a half day, just you and me. It's a private VIP day session. The next 4 people that say yes are actually going to get a private 30-day strategy program with me called the Cash Flow Accelerator to help you create $5,000 to $10,000 in your business in the first 30 days. It depends on you. We're going to come up with the strategy. We're going to come up with the offer. We're going to price it. But the average amount that people make in this 30 days is $5,000. 5,000. And if you want to talk to somebody who's done it, I've got lots of people inside of Activate. When they joined, they got that 30-day experience with me because I want you to start creating cash. I want you to start getting a return on your investment as soon as possible. Okay, so the next 4, doesn't matter, payment plan, pay in full, doesn't matter. I will work with you for 30 days and help you come up with your offer, your ideal client, so that you can actually start and uncover where those people are and who you're actually going to be making those invitations to, and give you the messaging to use to make it really, really easy for you to bring cash into your ecosystem, cash into your business. All right. Woo! I need a glass of water. It's 5:08. I went a little bit over. In your email, everybody's email is getting the link for taking a look at the page on Activate Abundance Academy. So go ahead, click on the link, check it out, look at it. It's okay if you check it out multiple times. I know sometimes we need to look at it and decide whether, this is something that's good for us or not. And then go ahead and just book a clarity call with me. Again, I am not into dragging anybody across the finish line. I said that before because I'm not interested in trying to convince or persuade you that you need me. I want you to be all in on having the support that you want the support to build and grow your business. And that is important. So you get to be a yes for having support. That doesn't mean that it's not going to feel a little wonky or scary, right? It's going to feel a little wonky and scary because it's something new. Okay. But I'm going to invite you to trust yourself, that if you could trust yourself, if you did trust yourself, if you did go all in on it, if you knew what to do, if you had the support, if you had a community, if you had the roadmap, how might that make a difference? Yeah. So a couple of you guys are messaging me. Yes, Faith, there are replays from the previous days. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And we send those to you inside of email as well. So we've got a replay page that's got everything on it. It's got the workbook you can download. It's got the replays for day 1 and day 2. This one isn't done yet. And then but we will get that up there. And then we also have where you can book your holistic business audit with me so that you can take a look at, or so that I can take a look at what's going on. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'll tell you exactly what happens on that audit. You're going to answer some questions, then we're going to hop on a 20-minute call so that I can, take a look at where you might be missing things and how you can actually take that next step to move forward, to create some momentum in your business. And then if it feels like you want support around different ways that I can support you, if you want my help to support you in your business, then we will either schedule another call at a later time, or if you ask me, we'll see if I've got any time, because we do have only a limited number of those audits left because we just don't have a whole bunch of time. Now, I will say that if you book your call before tomorrow night at midnight, even if you can't get in tomorrow, right? Because we're at the end of the day today, right? Even if I don't have space for you tomorrow, if you book it before midnight, I will still hold on to the early bird for you in the bonuses. Okay, which means you will still get the discount, but you have to book the call before midnight. You've got to book the call before the discount leaves. Okay, you're welcome, Faith. And let's see, there's the link, Cheryl. I popped it in there for you. And what if we're not yet into the coaching business, but a doctor, for example, and we're looking how to convert into a more holistic practice? Do you have any program for that? Yeah. Valerie, let's hop on a call for that because I need some more background. But yeah, if you just book a call with me, I can absolutely. I've worked with holistic doctors, naturopaths, energy workers. Happy to give you some guidance on that. It absolutely will still work. We still have to market. We still have to attract, nurture, and bite, even if we're not a coach, right? We still have to figure out how we're going to bring them into our ecosystem. What are we going to do to nurture, and what are we going to do to invite them to work with us, even if we've got a brick and mortar? Okay. Lauren said she didn't get the freebie. No problem. We will make sure that you get it, Lauren. And if anybody was here live yesterday and didn't get the freebie, we did send it out into our emails. Please direct message me on Facebook and I will make sure that you get it. Okay. So direct message me on Facebook if you didn't get it, and I will make sure that you do. All right, everybody, book the call so I can support you. And then I will see you guys back here tomorrow where we get to dive more into nurturing. Lauren, did you have a question for me? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Mhm.
So you have one appointment at 5:30 tomorrow.
Mhm.
You're saying if we book a call before tomorrow, even if we book it for next week,
Yeah.
you'll hold the discount
Yeah.
until we are able to connect?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you for
I don't want you guys to be penalized because I don't have space on my calendar.
How dare you?
I know, right? Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And remember, the next 4 that join are the ones that are, first come first, because I'm only one person, right? So I want to make sure that I have to watch my energetic capacity as well. So the next 4 will get the 30-day cash infusion with me. And that's a private session. It's actually worth $4,000 because you're getting a whole month with me. Plus you're getting direct Boxer access in between calls anytime. And you're getting access to the Cash Flow Accelerator course. So it's amazing. All right, ladies, have a great evening, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.